Are lower lows coming up in VET in the near term? I think the answer is yes, and I'm going to discuss that right now. What we're looking at is the daily chart in front of us for VET. To get started, I'm going to switch over to one of my favorite tools, that is tradingview.com. Let's just take a temperature of the market based on some technical analysis. Here it is for VET. We'll look at the 1-day time frame and we see a sell. Oscillators are showing a sell. Moving averages are showing a sell. A longer term time frame on the week, we've got a buy. Oscillators are neutral. Moving averages a strong buy. And on the month, looks like we also have a buy with a buy on oscillators and the moving averages. Let's take a look at the charts and see what we're seeing now. Now, let me explain one thing to you when I talk about something or making some lower lows here in the near term. I am strictly talking about the near term, the next few days, weeks, maybe month or so. I am not talking about the long term. I think for long term, VeChain is doing very well. It is a strong coin and I hold it. But my intent is to hold it for the long term and see what happens toward the end of 2024 and 2025. So everything in this video I'm going to talk about is over the next couple of days and weeks. Don't get discouraged. Don't let this video discourage you for the long-term outlook of VET. All right, so VET back in October was around 0.15. This was before the nice crypto run-up we had. VET was a very nice performing coin. It went from 0.015, 2.5 times it increased, touched this 0.0, what was the high? 0.038, we'll say, sometime in December, right around Christmas Day. And then, like all of crypto, we have seen January being a tough month on crypto. We have seen gains being given back, which is perfectly normal. You can't expect any financial instrument to go up 250% in 2 months and not give back some of those gains. And that's what we are seeing across the crypto market and VET in particular. Here is the lower lows and lower highs we've been making, which is the definition of a downtrend. Here's a high, here's a low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, and perhaps coming up a lower low. That's what I want to talk about today. We had in January, let's see, we were holding this level right here nicely. This is about 0.033 to 0.035. I have this marked as a very important level, and you can see it was important. Let me zoom in a little bit on the daily. As every time the market came down in that area in December, it was bought up. We've got a wick here, you can see across the board. So the market was buying that up every time VET got in that level, which is good. That meant that buyers saw that as a discount and picked up VET at that point. This day right here on January 3rd is what is the result of that Bitcoin flush that we had from those unsubstantiated rumors that the SEC was going to deny the Bitcoin ETFs. We had a lot of damage done in 2 hours across crypto. This was that day in Bitcoin. We went from 45,500 down to 41,500, about an 8%, 9% loss in about 2 hours. That was not fun, but Bitcoin started making its way back up over time, and so did VET. What that caused, what that Bitcoin flush caused, was us to break through this, was support and is now resistance, this level of 0.033 to 0.035. We had been holding it. And if you remember, Bitcoin on that day had broken 45,000 and was sitting nicely above 45,000. And then these rumors came out and caused Bitcoin to fall and caused VET to break through this support. And lower lows ensued. We broke through this critical 0.03 level. And when we tried to go back up post Bitcoin ETF approval, we were never able to make it back up above this critical level, which has now become resistance. Let's talk about this 0.03 level real quick. This 0.03 level is a nice round number. Humans like round numbers, and so it's a very important level in VET. Humans much easily identify 0.03 as opposed to 0.02885957. So that's just natural human nature. But we've got a blue line here that is also on the daily that intersects right now with that 0.03 level, which also makes it even more important. And that's this downtrend line that we had from the tops of back in 2022 and 2023. It's just a trend line. And that intersects, like I said, nicely. That's the blue line you'll see right here on the daily. Here it is. That intersects nicely with this 0.03. While we're above 0.03, we're looking fine. While we're above 0.03, we can look at price ranging here. I've got a problem though, and I could be wrong. I'll tell you this right now, I could be wrong. I think over the next few days, VET is going to give up this 0.03. Why do I think that? Well, I'm going to go back to Bitcoin. In Bitcoin, excuse me, we had this rising channel since December, and we actually broke out of the channel, started challenging these 49,000 highs post ETF approval. And people smarter than me were saying, look, we've had a fantastic run up in October, November, and December, but this 48,000 to 50,000 level is going to be hard to break on this run. So expect some resistance when we get there. And we absolutely did get there and have seen resistance. Price has fallen quite considerably over the last 2 to 3 days. And what those same people are saying is that it's very likely we go ahead and at least tap this 40,000 and find out how the market reacts there. And everything kind of seems to be looking toward that. You can see this nice fall, not nice, but very effective fall we've had in Bitcoin. And on the weekly, it looks even nastier with this big week right here, or this big wick right here. And it just looks like price is eventually going to fall out of the bottom of this channel and at least tag 40,000, and we'll have to see what happens on the tag. If we do tag 40,000, I only have to assume that VET's going to break this 0.03, and we're going to start ranging around this level at least. I don't know if we'll go down there that quickly to 0.024, but you would have to expect us to start ranging between the 0.027 and 0.03 if Bitcoin is going to challenge and fall down to that 40,000, which everything is looking like it's going to do. We've had big falls here. The last day was quiet, which meant the market was okay and content with price being at that level. So far, we've been quiet today. Now, Bitcoin could do this. It could rise back up and go ahead and hit this 44.5 to 45,000 level again. That was this December high back on the 8th. It could do that and then fall back down. So I'm not saying this is going to be a linear fall, a direct fall, but it could be. It really could be. We're at a point right now where I don't know, and I think a lot of people don't know what's going to happen next with Bitcoin and crypto. And again, I'm talking the short term. I'm talking the next few days over the next few weeks, not long term. Over long term, everyone is saying Bitcoin is going to do really well. We've got the halving coming up sometime in April. And the assumption is we're going to do well, and 2024 is going to be a good year, but we could fall out of this channel and hit 40,000. If we do that, VET's going to fall down here and hit this range right here. Let's see. I'd be surprised if it hit 0.024. It could. Again, it could tag it and get bought up, but I'd be surprised if we got down to this level right now. We'll just have to find out how the market reacts to Bitcoin hitting 40,000 if that is indeed going to happen. But I will say, do not be discouraged if you are a VET holder. If you want to get into more VET, perhaps wait for it to break this 0.03, buy you up some more. There is a nice line right there. I'm going to pop right here just because it is at the bottom of that range I just drew, which is very interesting, but it's also the top of this April 23 high, the top of this February 23 high. So that level of 0.027 looks nice, looks like a very reasonable level. It's also the high here, a low here. So look, these patterns happen over and over again. That's why we draw lines. That's why we look for patterns, because they tend to hold up. Not always, they don't always hold up, but they provide some framework for the chaos of the market that we can make some, hopefully, decisions that at least have probabilities in our favor. Doesn't mean they work all the time. Oh, this failed. You said it was going to do that. Oh, this failed. That's part of trading. Trading is making enough wise decisions with probabilities in your favor that you have a positive outcome. And sometimes that's you win 6 out of 10 and you lose 4 out of 10. It just depends on what your risk to reward is. But we're looking for probabilities, not guarantees. There's very rarely a guarantee in the crypto world. Anyway, that's what I'm seeing. We'll find out over the next couple of days what Bitcoin is going to do and how VET is going to react. Hold firm if you're in. You've got some good days ahead for VET. I really do believe. All right, I'll help you keep an update on price. Come back and check in.